Okay, good morning, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting to order with Park County Commissioners, and if you would stand and raise your right hand and
Raise your right hand.
raise your- Zach, would you lead us?
What?
Would you? You call it.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Zach was going to raise his right hand and
Down here.
Zach doesn't know if he's getting sworn in or.
Sworn in or sworn out.
all right. So we have the consent agenda, and it's the approved minutes of the April 7th, 26 meeting, approved payroll, approved vouchers, approve and sign monthly earning and collection statements from the clerk of district court and the sheriff, approve and allow chair to sign the TANF, FYI 2025 Q, 2 report, approve and sign the Granite Creek Energy lease, approve and sign Free Your Mind Consulting lease, approve and sign 3 catering permits for the Elkhorn Bar and Grill, notice and the notice of public hearing and opportunity to commit City of Cody special exemption requested on the 119 19th Street.
And Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as listed.
Second.
It's been approved to sign the consent agenda as listed. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have the developer. Sorry. No.
Did you have any comments for the city thing? So our it said, I have no objection or we object. What would you like me to check?
No
No objections. Next, we have the development regulations and standards update. Commissioner Oakfield.
Okay, still moving forward. The June meetings have been planned for the public, June 9th, 10th, and 11th. If you're interested in those meetings, can go to engageparkcounty.com from the Park County website to find out the date and time for your local planning area meeting. The TAG group finished their review of the uses and the zoning maps. Last week, I guess, was our last TAG meeting. And then the Planning and Zoning Commission have also completed their review of the uses, definitions, and the zoning maps. So that will all come together. The commissioners have a couple work sessions planned, both just with the commission and then with the Planning and Zoning Commission, I think on the 29th and 30th. We'll be getting together with them to finalize a draft to go out to the planning areas at those June meetings. So that's where we're at right now. Hopefully moving forward.
Thanks, Dawson. Any other discussions on that?
Mr. Chair, quickly, I'm on Engage Park County website right now. I just wanted to make sure that those June dates were up. I don't see them listed yet.
Okay.
So we'll just make sure that they get on there. But yeah, so we're planning area meetings for the 12 planning areas, correct? June 9th, 10th, and 11th. So.
And you say it's not on there.
I don't see it on here yet.
Okay. I will get with Joy, make sure it gets there. That I had them here.
Nothing else on that?
No.
Okay, we're a little early, but let's we'll open up to public comment for agenda and 9 non-agenda items. Sir, if you would please come forward, talk into the mic and state your name for the record. Sure,
Okay.
just try to pull that mic close and talk to into the map and then state your name for the record.
Is this okay?
Yep.
My name is Gary White. I've got a few months under my belt now as a member of the museum, Park County Museum Board. So I have a communication. I have 2 things. I have a communication from the Homesteader Museum Association membership. And I'd also like to offer my personal comment on the voting machines. But I have a copy of the letter. May I give one to everybody?
Sure.
Or,
You can just give it to one and we'll pass them down.
all right. Here's no from the. So I'll read the letter dated March 26th of this year. Dear Park County Museum Board members, this is a communication from the Homesteader Museum Association to the Park County Museum Board, of which I'm a member. It says the Homesteader Museum Association, Inc., 501(c)(3) would like to acknowledge our interest in the American Legion building on 143 South Clark Street once their contract expires with the city of Powell in 2033. In pursuing our mission of preserving Powell's history, we would like to incorporate the building and surrounding grounds into our existing campus. As our attendance and membership has grown, we are challenged to complete our purpose. We would utilize the space for the following, and it lists the things that the space would be used for. Your attention to this matter moving forward is greatly appreciated, as we are hopeful to begin a dialogue. And it's signed by the members of the Homesteader Museum Association. So the purpose of the letter coming from that group is to make you aware that they'd be interested in the American Legion property when the lease is due. It's a pretty complicated ownership. There's only a couple of uses permitted, but wanted to kind of draw a line in the sand starting today, have this letter on file with the commissioners as a goal to achieve in maybe that isn't that long away from now, but to bring this issue to the commissioners as something that would greatly benefit the Homesteader Museum if they could obtain that property at some point in time. So fair enough. Any questions?
I would just say that in doing the research over this over the last couple of years, because sitting with the museum board, we have looked at it a few times when the Legion originally talked about leaving. And it is a parcel under one of the federal deeds that is required to be for government or recreation use. So it'll be interesting to see who else steps forward, but certainly the museum's right there next door. As it exists right now, my main concern as a commissioner is added square footage and added utilities, but maybe there's a way to look at that in the future and see what we can make work.
The association hope there's enough time now, starting now, to figure out all these things, the issues that are going to come forward, including how to raise the money, things like that. So that's the purpose, is to make everybody aware of the interest that the association has.
Yeah, Gary, thanks for coming in. And I'm assuming you've been to the Powell City Council as well with a letter of similar.
We haven't yet, but the next meeting, we're going to do that.
Right, because if memory serves me corrected, as you mentioned, the ownership is complicated because the county owns the building, but the city owns the land with a lot of the deed restrictions on it as well. So,
Right.
yeah, I don't, moving forward, we don't even know what we're gonna do with the building, but this looks like a good fit to me right here on the surface.
I'm not sure that we actually, Mr. Chairman, not sure we actually own the building. What it talked about was the buildings reverting to the city of Powell and then possibly to us, was what
It would
we
be
looked
nice,
at originally.
Mr. Chair, it would definitely be nice to somehow clean up that
Yeah.
ownership, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think we've discussed going the other direction, and I don't think the county's interest because it is in the city, but yeah, we would love to clean our hands of it, but
Yeah.
Mr. Mangle, yes.
Talking to the people at the American Legion, they have no plans either. They
Right.
just want to go. They want to get another building going, and they have no indication on what to do with that property anyway. So they're just going to abandon it, I'm guessing. So
Thank you. Well, hopefully there's time this can be figured out to be a great asset for the museum. Not the upstairs in that museum is so crammed full of stuff. They can't even change exhibits downstairs. It's just so full of things, and it's not a good situation for all the things that the museum has in storage there. So any other questions or?
Nope. And you had something on the, Woody?
Yeah, so, I've been a seedsman for a long time. I just want to say, everything that moves in a seed warehouse is weighed. Everything we buy, everything we sell was weighed on a certified scale. And I have a lot of faith in electronic machines. They're all calibrated. They're all tested. They're have to be certified by the state of Wyoming Department of Agriculture. If a scale is out of tolerance, it's taken out of service until it can be put back in tolerance. All the electronic load cells are manufactured with a certain degree of accuracy. And when the scales are certified, the certification indicates that they're within the degree of manufactured tolerance. The scales that are in use are purchased for the accuracy of the job at hand, whether it's the port of entry scales at the YDOT at the port of entries, it's the little scale that weighs a pound of bananas in the grocery store. It's the flow meter that dispenses gasoline and diesel fuel at the gas station. Everything is electronically measured by load cells that are accurate. So that's my way of explaining. I have a lot of confidence in the accuracy of the voting machines. They're certified. Everything has a tolerance, including a motor. It's got to make an error once in a while, but they're certified to be within the accuracy that they're manufactured to be. And for me, I have a lot of faith in electronic calibrations, and hopefully we don't revert to hand counting ballots, because nobody talks about the accuracy of a hand count process. Everybody thinks, and everything you hear is that hand counting is going to be 100% accurate. And I don't see how it can be. Electronics are pretty darn good. So for me, I just want to comment, I have a lot of faith in the voting machines, calibrations, and the accuracy of the results. Not only the election results, but the test runs when they're calibrated. So my analogy is with scales. So going back to the old Powell Bean Company, that was before the days of electronic scales. So Coy Churchill's dad would go in there, weigh a truckload of beans, and that fellow that was in there, he'd take a smoke and set it on the balance beam. So it tipped the scale a tiny bit in favor of the guy buying the beans and a little bit not in favor of the guy selling the beans. So even though mechanical things can be calibrated and can be accurate, they can be tampered with also. So those are my two examples why I favor electronic machines over hand counts. So,
Any questions?
Thank you.
Sir, appreciate your comments.
thank you very much.
Thanks.
Mhm.
We're a little ahead of schedule. Mr. Jones, you ready? Yes, sir. Okay, next we have Richard Jones from the Cody Conservation District. Reference a proposal of the Conservation District tax not to exceed 1 mil on the ballot. And as always, Mr. Jones, if you just step up there and give your name and talk to the mic. And I see you've got a partner there, so if you have any discussion, please speak to the mic and state your name for the record.
And Richard Jones, I'm a Cody Conservation District Supervisor. I'd like to introduce John Tanaka. He's also an elected official of the board, and he's our chairman. And I don't believe he's appeared here before.
No, I haven't.
I don't know how he's avoided it, but he's very clever.
Put you up front.
I'd also like to introduce Corey Williams, who's sitting in the back. He is our district manager, our self-employed because we live on grant money. So if he gets grants, he keeps his job. And we've been here before. I don't think I have to discuss much with you at all. We're just asking to be put on the primary ballot. And we'll work that out with Mr. Hans. And again, if we do not, if this is not a successful issue for us at this time, we'll probably be coming back after the elections to ask for another special election and see how we fare at that point. But we're one of only 2 districts in the state that have no permanent source of funding. And it's we process tens of millions of dollars worth of stuff through our organization, and we don't get a cut of those funds. So as you all know, this is to our benefit. Are there any questions at all?
Sure.
Mr. What I have in front of me just says not to exceed one. Is that what you're going to be asking for?
Exactly. And to be honest with you, depending on what valuations are and stuff like that, I potentially can't make any promises, but we may not need a full mill at some point in the future, just because of our structure, but that's a nice number. And that's pretty common throughout the state, although a mill in Teton County is quite a bit different than a mill in Park County.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they have.
It doesn't, I mean, I have no problem supporting putting it on the ballot. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously gonna have some discussion, but I'd be just curious whether you are gonna be asking for less or not. And that will only go to the conservation,
District.
the voters within the conservation district. So.
Right, that's their, yeah, there are three districts in Park County, the Meeteetse and the Powell-Clarks Fork
Correct,
District. And the Powell-Clarks Fork District is the other district
Is
that
the
doesn't
other
have
one
funding.
that doesn't have a mill. Yep.
Yeah, so, but they haven't come in. So we all, thank you for your support, and we'll see how this goes with the electorate. Yes, Doug.
Chairman, well, first I'd like to thank Corey for the communications. He's been really good at keeping us up to date
I'm
as
glad
to
to hear
what's
that.
going on, even though we can't attend too many of the meetings due to scheduling, but we know about them. My other question is, some of the districts around the state noticed on other ballots, don't know whether you've thought about it or not, or whether it's an issue for the commissioners, but some of the conservation districts, they do ask for 1, 2, or 3 mills, but they also make a statement about putting it back on the ballot in 3 or 4 years. So that people understand that if it's not working or not doing what you think it's gonna do, you might have a future option. I don't
There
know.
are two ways to ask for the mill.
Okay.
One is on a renewable basis, I believe every 4 years. It has to go back before the voters. The other is one that has to be rescinded.
Okay,
So we're asking for a permanent 1 mill that could be rescinded by the voters at any time, but
Oh.
it'd have to be initiated that way as opposed to having to be, again, what we're looking for, this is only our, 82nd year in business here in Park County. What we're looking for is some stability for the future. We plan to be around. We've struggled so far, but planning for the future, and with agriculture and other things, we're not planning for tomorrow necessarily. We may be planning 5 years out. And with the inability to have a good staff that can plan for the future and work with all these other partners we have in the county, including the county itself, stability is really important. You can't make plans out 3 years if you don't even going to have a staff person around to do it. So we're asking for the permanent mill, but
Okay.
that is always rescindable by the voters.
well, I think that's the other thing for the commissioners to note is how much they do give us information for planning and zoning issues that we have to answer to all the time.
Well, that's required by
Okay.
the state. We're
Right.
obligated to do that. I'm not sure. Probably if this district collapsed, it would be incorporated into maybe the Meeteetse or Powell-Clarks Fork District. We have under our authority almost 3 million acres of land within this county, including all the county section of Yellowstone. So I think it's the second largest district in the state as far as area we look at and have some say on.
Commissioner Smart?
Thanks for coming in today. Again, I know this is like the second or third time you've had to come in. I mean, asking for
Oh, that's
this.
just because you're new.
Yeah, it might be more than that, yeah. So I guess I have 2 questions. The first one, I understand that the 2 options for putting it on the ballot, and that this one is the rescinding option with 10% of the voters of the district have to sign a petition to get it off the ballot or get the mill removed. So my first question is that explained? How do you plan to message that to the public? Because I'm assuming that doesn't really go on the ballot. Like the only way to rescind this is the 10% petition, number 1. And number 2, do you think that is the more, if you're being strategic about trying to get it passed, do you think that's the better route versus saying, we'll do this for 4 years? Or whatever, the other option was for it to go away in 4 years.
In our experience here, the biggest problem we have is people understanding that the district exists and how important it is. The population centers of Powell and Cody are the majority of voters. They're urban. They don't have as much interaction with soil, water, conservation, and ag. Much of the rural community in this county has some awareness of the conservation district and the way they work with the National Resource Conservation Service, the feds, on these things, and they're very supportive of us. The other people just are ignorant; they don't know. And the votes in the past and the support we've tried to gain basically comes, particularly within Park County. You say tax, they say no. There's not necessarily much value or added to it, particularly with our urban population centers. Also, another problem we have is by law, we, as elected officials and county people, and we're in that same boat, we're kind of prevented by lobbying for tax increases and things like that. So we have to be very careful on how we talk about ourselves and talk about the need for funding. We're always on a fine line of being a lobbyist versus just trying to explain our situation. And again, trying to educate the voters on the value of this district to them to vote. So to get to your question on a 4-year renewable versus a permanent, and how we would explain the ability to rescind it and stuff to the voters, I'm not going to say anything about it. Why tell people that, it's a negative thing if you're trying to promote a program. If they ask, I mean, that's the process. It's public information, but we're not going to publicize that there are 2 ways to do it. And we're not asking for 2 ways. We're asking for a permanent thing. That's the voter issue that's the question before the voters. We're not giving them an option of one or the other at this point.
Mr. Teal.
So, Mr. Chairman, along those lines, and Commissioner Simone, so who does, I guess my question is to possibly clerk, Colleen as well as us, who does the wording? Who puts the wording together for the ballot? Is that done by the clerk, by the commissioners, or by the conservation district?
Yeah, like. Hans, you have some insight here?
Mr. Chairman, Hans Odie, Park County First Deputy. So to answer your question about who puts together the wording, so the board, the Conservation District Board, asks you to place their question on the ballot in the manner they would like it to be placed on. So in the Conservation District statute is where you find the 2 different options. So option B is the proposition to impose the tax, or let's see, wait a minute, excuse me. Option C is where the renewal comes up every 4 years. So I'm in 11-16-134 subsection C. It says upon the initial submission of the Conservation District tax, any renewal thereof after July 195, the Conservation District Board of Supervisors shall choose one of the following options and the wording for that option. So in subsection Romanet I, the proposition is approved. The same proposition shall be submitted at the second following general election or by mail ballot pursuant to 22-29-115, and thereafter at succeeding general elections or by mail ballot pursuant to the same every 4 years until the proposition is defeated. So that's option 1. And then Romanet 2 is the one that the Board of Supervisors has chosen to propose to you. And that is, if this proposition is approved, the tax shall remain in effect until a petition to disclose the tax signed by not less than 10% of the voters of the district is received by the Board of County Commissioners and the proposal to discontinue the tax is approved by the voters. So it would be, they would have to petition, there would be an election to discontinue the tax at that point. And then if that proposition passed, then the tax would go away. Now, to explain
Just clarification. So is that the wording that will be on the ballot?
I was just going to touch
Sorry.
on that. Mr. Chairman, back to Commissioner Simone's question about, the advertising and that going away and whatever. That is actually part of the question. So the question would be, shall the Park County Commissioners impose a conservation district tax not to exceed 1 mil on all property within the conservation district for the purpose of providing natural resource programs directed by the Cody Conservation District. If this proposed proposition is approved, the tax shall remain in effect until a petition to discontinue the tax signed by not less than 10% of the voters of the district is received by the Board of County Commissioners and so on. So, and then that's a yes or a no, or for or against, for the tax or against the tax. So the option of which one to take is up to the board. Your choice is to put the question on the ballot or not. So the board has requested that the Board of Supervisors has requested that Romanet 2 be the way they want to go. Again, it's the commissioner's choice, the county commissioner's choice as to whether to put the question as a whole on the ballot or not.
Commissioner Overfield?
Could you read the very first part of that again? I may have heard you wrong, but the first part of what is proposed to be on the ballot?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Overfield, yes. So the question would go, and this is standard language as to the last times we've
Okay.
put this on the ballot. Shall the Park County Commissioners impose a conservation district tax not to exceed 1 mil on all property within the Cody Conservation District, Park County, Wyoming, for the purpose of providing natural resource programs directed by the Cody Conservation
Okay,
District?
thank you. That answered my question. I heard the first part wrong.
Commissioner Mangold?
The voters will, the question I'm sure that they'll ask is this additional 1 mil going to be taking out an existing pool of their property taxes, or will this be a raise in their property tax, and how much would it be? Those are the questions that are to come up. Hopefully, would it come out of an existing pool, or would that be in addition to the property taxes that they're paying right now?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Mangold, that's a good question. I hadn't thought of that, whether a mill adds on to the valuation or whether it's taken out of the existing tax. Somebody has to answer that. I can't do that.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, that would be an additional tax on top of the already whatever's being levied at this time through schools and state general tax and all of our other special district taxes that we have at this time. This 1 mil would be in addition to any other tax that is already on the roll.
So there's going to be some math involved for you when you're asked questions. How much is this going to raise my property tax? And just for those voters in that Cody Conservation District area.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman and Commissioner Mangold. The last time I looked at the math on that a couple of years ago on the valuations of Park County, this would increase some, but on the average tax for people in the district, property tax to face now, 1 mil was going to amount to mid $30
For the whole year.
for the whole mill. It's probably a little higher than that now because valuations have gone up, but at that point, 1 mil was between $30 and $40 on the average person. I don't remember what the average tax was at that time. So yes, that's a question we're prepared to answer. And people don't understand that. They don't really understand what a mill is. And to me, that that's two people eating at McDonald's.
And I think that you're going to have to explain the value of the Cody Conservation District and how much that you have actually even saved the county in some of your presentations to this board and to the rest of the county and the work that you've done.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Mangold, as a professional communicator, we accept any advice you may offer. Please.
And I think the big thing is always going to be education. I mean, if you just throw it out there on the ballot, people just aren't. So it's going to be education. And I mean, for me personally, I'm speaking for myself. I've always looked at a tax or something like this. For me personally, to vote to put it on the ballot, to give it to the people rather than just 5 do it. So that's kind of where I stand. I'm not saying I support or don't support. I'm into putting it on the ballot, but I think the huge thing has to be education in the public. They just can't go into the voting booth and see that, or they're gonna.
Right.
Yeah, so you've got to, it's got to be that education. I've been through the previous law enforcement center where we just threw it out on the ballot and got it stuffed down our throat. And it took years of education to get it back there. But I think that's, again, I believe in putting it to the public, let them vote, but education.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I agree with you 100%. We've been working very hard on that. Like I say, we're a little constrained by lobbying versus education, but I firmly believe if people understand the value of something, they will pay for it. I believe that myself. The 1 cent tax we had a number of years ago was very specific. It was specifically for certain things with the sheriff's office, certain things with infrastructure, and people voted that in.
Right.
And those things went away. The second time they tried it, it was kind of like, well, they need more money for this, maybe, and it went down. Our problem with that was the first time we tried to get on the ballot was with that second 1 cent tax. People just voted no. The second time, 2 weeks before we got on the ballot, was when the huge increase in property taxes came out. So that was a death knell, which is why we came to you for a mail-out ballot,
Right.
single issue, targeted only to those people in the district, and probably a low voter turnout, people who didn't know the district might have tossed that ballot, not even thought about it. Those who supported it, if they put it returned, it would probably vote positive. We thought that was our best chance of getting it, but of course, that wasn't approved. So,
With no offense, but sadly, I think a lot of people think of the conservation district. When they think of it, all they see is the sign that they go on the road that's white and green.
oh no, it's gone. It's off on Polecat Bench now. It went away about 2 months ago after 20 years.
Well, just-
Instrumental sign.
With the wind.
Just, that sadly is what people think. They just see the sign.
That's
They don't-
exact, I agree with you. And one thing we're doing right now is we're getting new signs to put up at the points of entry into this district, at Yellowstone and coming down from Belfry, coming.
It's
down
not gonna
here.
say support the 1% mill.
No. Unfortunately, maybe I could put a wrap on it or something, or somebody might put some graffiti on it saying that, but you're absolutely right about education and knowledge, and that's the bane of our existence on trying to get this done. So, again, any advice or thing you can give us, we will be more than willing to listen to them.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chair, I would just say, I'm with you. I think that putting it to the voters is the best thing. I think for me, it's the process that they know that how, if they don't feel like it's effective, so they get to watch the work that let's say they pass the 1 mill and then they think, well, it's not money well spent or whatever. I'm not saying that that's what would happen, but they do have the ability then to know how they can rescind it. That was my only concern, as long as they know that. And so with that, I would just make a motion that we approve the proposal of the Conservation District tax not to exceed 1 mil on the general ballot, primary ballot. It has to go on the primary ballot.
Next two.
Yeah, under I don't remember the statute.
Option 2.
Option Romanet 2.
That statute, Commissioner Simone, is 11-16-134, subsection C, Romanet II, Romanet 2.
Okay.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Been moved and seconded to approve the proposal of the Conservation District to put on the ballot for a tax of not to exceed 1 mil on the ballot. And that falls under, that'd be on the primary, under 11-16-134 CII. Any further? Oh,
Go ahead.
go ahead, Mr. Odom.
Mr. Chairman, just one thing of note on for logistics purposes on our end. So this is an unaffiliated or a nonpartisan question that's going on the primary ballot. So what it's going to do is it's going to add ballots in the rural area for unaffiliated ballots. So we have about 309, as of this morning, 309 unaffiliated voters in the rural area outside of the town of Cody. And so what that does is it just adds another ballot style for us. That's not unmanageable. We can do that. I just want you to be aware that that there, instead of in the rural area, there being just 2 ballot styles with a Republican and a Democrat in each one of the precincts, there now will be a Republican, a Democrat, and an unaffiliated ballot that normally would not be in that area.
Cost?
The cost is minimal to us, $300 to $500 maybe, so.
Thanks for the info.
Just wanted you to be aware
Yeah.
that you'll now have 3 ballot styles in the unincorporated areas.
Thank you.
Thanks for the info.
Just-
Discussion.
The question then with that, what is is there an option to put it on the general?
There, Mr. Chairman,
That would
Commissioner Thiel,
eliminate those costs?
Commissioner Thurman, yes, there is. But that's not what the proposal was for from these guys.
I understand.
I mean, that would be between the two, this entity and this entity. I just wanted you to be aware that of that issue. For us, again, it's not an issue for us necessarily, just an additional ballot style. So if somebody calls you and says, hey, why are there yellow ballots in my area out at South Fork now, when there used to be in a white ballot and a blue ballot, and that's it? They want to know why there might be the third yellow ballot. That's what that is. The unaffiliated voters have to have an opportunity to vote on that, because it's a nonpartisan, it's a district wide, so it's a conservation district wide. And so, but again, no issue for us.
I know, but my point is you would not have that expense if it was on the general, correct?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Thiel, that is correct. And
And
again,
this,
3 to
if I could
500.
ask Mr. Jones, is there a problem that you don't want it on the general and you specific to the primary?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Thiel, yes, we feel that the ability, the way voter turnout works and stuff like that, we'd prefer to be on a primary with nonpartisan issues in it, as opposed to a general election, which oftentimes has national concerns and other things that would draw different types of voters and maybe different attitudes. We feel a primary would be better than the general. We've tried the general. We've tried everything but a mail-in ballot over the years, and we just feel that a primary ballot is better, depending on what the competition is. If we have 4 or 5 tax issues on it, we're probably going to have a problem, but
Okay,
we can't deal with that. And I may add one other thing, just as discussion. We do have one more alternative. Half the districts, or a third of the districts in the state, get their funding from direct county support, which would come out of the county property taxes directly. It wouldn't be an added tax. But that would involve us getting involved in your budgeting, all this stuff that you love so much every year when it comes up, asking for funds from the county. We've asked for some special things in the past to keep us afloat. You've been very generous helping us out with certain things, but that's the other alternative. And a bunch of these districts are directly supported in the county budget itself, as opposed to a separate mill levy. So we think a mill levy is just a cleaner way of operating.
Mr. Oka, did you have something? Oh, anybody else? All right, it's been moved to second, and all those in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Aye, any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you
all
very
for
much,
coming in.
Chairman. Thank you,
Appreciate
board.
it.
Appreciate it.
Okay, we're on break until 10:20.
So I can tell you one thing, if it doesn't pass,
Alrighty, next on the agenda, we have Eric Decker and Kim Gilliman in the planning, Park County Planning and Zoning.
Oh.
And this is reference Retirement Ridge to MS 96 final plat and SIA.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The staff report packet was provided to you and the applicant in advance of this hearing. All facts are within the packet, and I will now summarize some key findings from the material. The complete packet will remain in the official file in the Planning and Zoning Department. Charles Ziska submitted a final plat application requesting approval of the final plat of Retirement Ridge 2 MS 96, resulting in the vacation and re-subdivision of Lot 1 of Retirement Ridge SS 279 into a 3-lot subdivision consisting of one 8.4 acre lot and two 5-acre lots, each intended for residential use. He is also requesting approval of the subdivision improvements agreement, which the county attorney's office has approved as to form. The applicable regulations are the Park County, Wyoming 2025 Development Standards and Regulations. This subdivision is classified as a minor subdivision and located in the GRP zoning district, and the lot sizes as proposed are consistent with that zoning district. The proposed subdivision is located approximately 6 miles west of Ralston with an address of 2106 County Lane 11. Relevant agencies were notified and one response was received since your sketch plan review of this project. Black Hills Energy stated that they prefer foundations are poured before they run any gas service lines. One public comment had been received early in the process, citing concerns about traffic safety and development in the critical agricultural area. You, the board, reviewed and approved the sketch plan. The applicant has provided sufficient easements and identified them on the final plat. They have also provided an approved water distribution plan and an approved long-term noxious weed management plan. They have also placed the appropriate notes and condition on the final plat with regard to high groundwater and the potential for engineered septic systems, well water quality, permitting requirements for wells with the state engineer's office, and the Wyoming Right to Farm and Ranch Act. Applicable final plat specifications have been met. Should you choose to approve the final plat of Retirement Ridge 2 MS 96, staff would recommend the following conditions. The approval of this final plat shall expire after 18 months unless the final plat is signed by the chairman of the board and recorded in the clerk's office upon written request prior to the expiration date, and for good cause shown, the board may grant one extension of the expiration date for a period not to exceed 6 months. The applicant shall record the approved subdivision improvements agreement in the office of the clerk and recorder prior to initiating the required improvements. Condition 3. The applicant shall complete the terms of the subdivision improvements agreement timely and provide evidence of completion of all improvements to the Planning and Zoning Department. Condition 4. After the terms of the subdivision improvements agreement have been met and the applicant has been notified of such by the Planning and Zoning Director, the applicant shall provide the final Mylar plat to the Planning and Zoning Department to be reviewed and signed by the Chairman of the Board of County Commissioners. Condition 5. Once conditions 2 through 4 have been met, the applicant, in the presence of a member of the Planning and Zoning Department staff, shall record the final plat and all required final plat submissions in the office of the county clerk and recorder. And condition 6, the applicant shall otherwise comply with the standards in the Park County Development Regulations and the minimum subdivision requirements as set forth in Wyoming Statute 18-5-306. We stand by for questions.
Commissioner
Just, do we need to amend number 6 to be the regulations from 2015? What regulations are we dealing with here?
We're dealing with the 2025 regulations now
Okay.
on this one.
Thank you.
Commissioner Chair. Erica, just a quick question, on the Black Hills preferred foundations be poured before they provide the service lines. Does that need to be then, I'm just looking at the subdivisions improvement agreement. Does that need to be added under the utilities, or how are we
No,
addressing that?
They worded it kind of odd. What they were saying was that they prefer that their service lines not be installed until something's constructed that would request gas service. So they're saying that the gas is not required until there are structures in place.
Okay.
So it would not be required as part of
okay.
the improvements agreement. Yeah, they just worded it a little different than they do most of the time.
Okay.
Any further questions for staff?
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion that we approve the SIA for Retirement Ridge Minor Subdivision 96.
Second.
Been moved second to approve the SIA for Retirement Ridge 2, MS 96. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
Mr. Chair, move to approve the final plat for MS 96 Retirement Bridge with staff recommendations.
Second.
Been moved second to approve the final plat for MS 96 Retirement Ridge number 2 with conditions as stated. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Twenty 2026 sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, but that resolution is for both.
Yeah, that first for both, right? You don't need to.
Yes, correct. Two motions, one resolution.
Also,
I just wanted to tell planning and zoning, thank you also for providing the minutes from the P and Z meetings. I think
Yes.
those are going to help us
I do too.
understand everything we're working through.
Okay, super.
Yeah, thank you. The next is not a public hearing, so we can go ahead and get started. Kim Dillman, Park County Planning and Zoning Assistant Director, and Erica Decker, Montgomery Simple Subdivision 282 amended plat.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the staff report packet was provided to you and the applicant in advance of today's hearing. All facts are within that packet. And now I want to summarize the key findings from all this material. The complete packet will remain in the official file in the Planning and Zoning Department. So for your consideration, this is a request for the partial vacation amended plat of the Montgomery Simple Subdivision 282, and it's lot 2 that will possibly be amended. James Montgomery Jr. submitted an amended plat application on February 11th of this year. A revised amended plat was received on April 13th of this year. The applicant requests approval of a boundary line adjustment between lot 2 of the Montgomery Simple Subdivision 282 owned by Grable River Holdings and the remaining parcel outside this platted subdivision, which exists to the south and the west, which is owned by James Montgomery Jr., thereby adjusting the southern boundary of lot 2 of the subdivision and increasing the size of that lot from 5.07 acres to 6.08 acres. And that will then, if this amended plat is approved, that will become lot 102, Mr. Chairman. And you saw some changes on the plat, some boundary line changes. So there was an error found on the original Montgomery Simple Subdivision plat found by the surveyor concerning the southeastern boundary line of the remaining parcel. This amended plat will correct that error. The adjustments will decrease the size of the remaining parcel from 65.65 acres to 65.45 acres, an increase of 1.0 acres from the remaining parcel to lot 2 is proposed. Lot 2 will become 102. So, Mr. Chairman, in addition to lot 2 increasing in size and basically taking some land, is a way to put it, from this remaining parcel, when you look on this amended plat to the southeast, that parcel to the southeast, which is owned by James and Mary Montgomery, the original subdivision line, the platted subdivision line for Montgomery Simple Subdivision is the small dashes. And then the surveyor found out with the big dashes where actually the lines of that parcel are located. So what we want to do is when this is approved, that will create that. So again, that parcel owned by James and Mary, it obviously has a deed, and on the deed are those big dash lines, but the error is with the existing Montgomery Simple Subdivision, which are the small dashes. So should this be approved, that will be created. Of course, in addition, if this is approved, lot 2 is going to increase in size as well. So essentially, long story, with the change to the southeast, Some of that land is going to be added to the remaining parcel that currently is not shown on Montgomery Simple subdivision. With this increase in the size of lot 2, land will be taken from the remaining parcel. So there's some adjustments there. Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate the time to try to explain that. Hopefully I did it decently. So the original plat for Montgomery Simple subdivision 282 was a 2-lot non-contiguous subdivision that was approved by the Park County Commissioners on April 5th of 2022. The applicable regulations for what we're doing is our 2025 development standards and regulations. Montgomery Simple subdivision 282 is located approximately 11 miles west of Cody. It's just south of Highway 141620. This subdivision is in the GR5 zoning district. The proposed lot size is consistent with the GR5 zoning district. The proposed boundary line adjustment is occurring between a platted lot and an adjacent unplatted parcel. Therefore, an amended plat is required. The planning director determined a public hearing is not necessary because partially vacating this plat should not abridge or destroy it or affect any privileges of proprietors in the subdivision. Agency referral requirements have been met. Park County Treasurer's Office stated that Lot 2 has only the first half of their taxes paid. The remaining parcel, though, those taxes are paid in full. Park County Fire Protection District 2 stated they have no comments on the amendment. YDOT stated they have no concerns with the amended plat. They did mention that if Lot 2 is developed, an access application would be required. However, Mr. Chairman, with the original plat of Montgomery Simple subdivision, there is an easement coming that serves Lot 2. So Lot 2 and essentially Lot 102, they do have access. Wyoming DEQ summarized the notifications, permit and certifications required. Should there be anything affecting surface or groundwater? We don't think there will be any. Park County Public Works did not submit any comments. We've not received any public comments. The Plat Review Committee reviewed this amended plat on February 20th of this year. They had some corrections and changes. We did receive a revised amended plat, which was in your packet. We received that on April 13th of this year. And as you know, no new lots are being created as a result of this amended plat. And the amended plat meets the requirements outlined in Chapter 3, Section 14C in our development standards and regulations. And again, that is our 2025 standards and regulations. Should you choose to approve this amended plat, we have some recommended conditions. Number 1 is prior to recording the amended plat, the applicant shall provide ownership conveyances of the individual lot resulting from the amended plat to the Park County Planning and Zoning Department for recording immediately after the amended plat, or if closing at a title company is required for the land transaction, to be recorded upon closing. And number 2, the applicant shall otherwise comply with standards in the Park County development regulations and the minimum subdivision requirements set forth in Wyoming Statute 185306. And Mr. Chairman, we're happy to answer questions should you have any.
Questions for staff?
Mr. Chair, I noticed to the south BLM, is there any fencing issues that might delay any of this at all?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Mangold, that is a good question. To be honest with you, the fencing, as fencing stands with the subdivision that was approved, I think back in 2022, I do not remember what, if anything, was fenced or not. I guess I cannot answer your question.
I can't remember. Did the law pass after 22?
Yeah. And you probably know this, Commissioner Mangold, Mr. Chairman. My understanding is that fencing requirement has been a law for many years. It was just in 23 they put it on our plate, and so now we're starting at that point where we enforce that.
Right, and so when it comes to fencing, the place is already fenced in.
Okay.
With this adjustment, there's no fences there.
Right, I was just concerned it's further south where the
Yeah,
BLM.
there's no fence where this
Okay.
is going in. This little adjustment, there is no fence.
Okay.
But the whole property is fenced in. Mr. Hill.
Mr. Chairman, I also think that we're not approving a subdivision and that
Right.
statute is
Right.
is referencing subdivision. We're
True.
just doing a plat amendment.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't think it
Matters.
it applies.
Right.
That'd be my interpretation.
Further questions for staff? None?
Mr.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the partial vacation and amended plat of Montgomery Simple Subdivision 282, Lot 2,
Second.
I move second.
as
to-
presented with staff recommendations.
Been approved to approve the Montgomery subdivision amendment plat with staff conditions. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair, I got close to the microphone. Do we need to include which regulations again? Because I don't think it's on the conditions don't say 2025?
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Simone, I can certainly add 2025
Okay.
language on, I think it's condition number 2,
Two.
where it references our regs.
Yeah.
I will do that.
Okay.
I'll put 2025.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Mr. Chairman, just for everybody's knowledge, the interim committees at the legislature did approve bringing in and discussing that fencing law.
Good.
So they'll be going over it this summer and fall and see what they can do to maybe alleviate some of our problems with it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Commissioners.
I would like to
Yeah.
20.
20, thank you, Cole. Yep,
2026.
thank you, Colleen.
and I would like to take a moment. Tomorrow is Administrative Assistant Appreciation Day. And I would like to say thanks to Kelly for doing all our work when we're out playing around. Thank you very much.
If these are for you and then.
Anything?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn and seconded. Any further discussions? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I was gonna outwait you guys. I got plumbers in my house. I don't give a shit.
Oh,